Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot during the shutdown because we've been having this debate about, well, should we have Medicaid at all? Should we have food stamps at all? And here's my take on it.
Yeah.
I think my goal as a state legislator should be to have as few people on Medicaid,
Yeah.
welfare, food stamps as possible.
Sure.
By making it so there are more job opportunities, make it
Yeah.
easier to start a business, easier to prosper, to get off that and be less dependent on the government.
Yeah.
That's better for people's individual freedom for your life to be not dependent on the government, and just have, it's better for not being controlled by the government. And it's better for what you're talking about balancing the budget. So that
Sure.
should be our goal. In the meanwhile, if the program exists and is appropriated and there's a family that needs food, I'll help them get that benefit.
Okay.
So if there's somebody who goes, hey, we need this benefit, we need Medicaid, we need
Yeah.
SNAP, and that program's out there and they're entitled to it, they're eligible for it, I'll help them get it. But my goal is to make it so they don't need it and is make as few people need it as possible. So that's my take. If there's a family who's like, hey, we need to eat this month, and I'm like, hey, there's a program, you're eligible for it, eat. I don't blame that family.
Yeah.
I think every parent's got to do the best they can to feed their kids what they
course.
got any month to month.
Yeah.
But the system where we're pushing more and more people on government dependence and we're making that like the best choice, that's a bad system.
Which means eventually it goes into becoming socialist, becomes almost communist, because you're not relying on yourself to earn the money. You're relying on the government, and pretty much they will control you. Am I
Right.
wrong?
Yeah, whatever you depend on controls you.
Right.
So if you got to go every month and sign up and say, I need this money, one day they're going to say, just like we talked about during
Yeah.
the COVID era, one day they'll say, you can have it if you do X.
Exactly.
One day the COVID vaccine is a great example. You can have this benefit this month if you take the COVID vaccine. Or what else? What else you want to add on to it?
There you go.
All the things we can't even think of that the government.
Well, let's talk about what happened yesterday with Melania and Trump getting a program for a presidential appointed program for foster kids. Now, I think there's a specific reason they did that. And one of those is all the trafficking of little children over the years. They have absolutely failed these kids in terms of them being out there and them not doing anything about the fact that these kids are often lost.
Yeah.
Thousands of them. And so now they're putting this bill in to get as few kids tariffed or taken out and doing bad stuff to them, and they can get this organized to where they can trafficked, and they can get this organized to where they can raise these kids in a good, loving family.
Yeah.
And they have a shot. And it works towards these kids some of them will go to school, high school. They'll go to college. Sometimes they'll get jobs. And that's the American way to do things, isn't it?
Yeah, to have a dream and give them the best chance of following their dream. In Missouri, there are about 1,000 children in foster care who went missing. Just nobody knows who they are.
1,000?
Yeah.
Just in Missouri? So it's probably a lot more.
The number
than
might be a little higher, a little lower now. It might have been 900 something last time I saw.
Wow.
It might be over there, but so you say roughly 1,000.
So
children
you
in
can
foster care.
probably guess it's about 50,000 for the whole country.
Yeah, it could be right. I mean, Missouri is average population state. And where are those kids? A lot of them have probably been human trafficked.
Yes.
Who knows where a lot of them are? And that's a pretty scary statistic. So if they're in foster care, that means that they're in the custody of the state of Missouri. That the state of Missouri said your parents are unwilling, unfit, or unable to be your parent. And that's a big thing. That's not a small thing.
Sure.
And generally, I don't think the state should do that. But there's sometimes the state finds it necessary to do that. But a lot of times I think the state shouldn't be doing that. The parent should keep custody.
Sure.
The state should give them resources. Maybe that's Medicaid. Maybe that's whatever service is right. But there are kids taken away from their parents. And sometimes kids are in bad situations. They're being sexually abused by their biological parents. They're living in a place where methamphetamine is being produced or there's fentanyl, and they've got to get the kids out of there. And I understand that.
Well, now it's going sexual. There's a state, I believe it's Maine.
Yeah.
No, it's Massachusetts, where they are preventing, they're taking away the custody of the parents because they wouldn't agree to their child being a transgender.
Yeah, that's a horrible situation too. So
Yeah.
I think it should be really hard to take the kids away from their parents. I think usually, and I say usually,
And
because
there was
there's
nothing wrong with him proven at that time.
and usually the parents are the ones who are the loving and caring
Yeah.
the most. There are loving foster parents who are, that's the best chance for that kid to be safe.
They
too.
want you to write it off. They want you to sign it before they even meet with you. And if you don't sign it, you don't get the kid.
No, it should be very hard for the government to take the kids away from their parents.
I would agree.
But there are circumstances, like if the children are being sexually abused by their biological parents, for example. That's an example when the state needs to intervene, I think.
Yeah, let's see. Probably have a few. Shannon Reed, take a look at CASA of South Central Missouri. Yes. You know about that, right?
No, CASA is a good program.
Yeah.
CASA is court-appointed special advocates. And those are people who, there's children in maybe the juvenile system, the foster care system. And their job is to basically, and they might have a different description than I would, but their job is to go and get involved and talk to the child, talk to the family, talk to the social workers, talk to the lawyers, and then go back to the judge and say, here's what's kind of really going on. This is these are the dynamics that are it's special in this case, because every case has different dynamics.
Sure.
And here's what's in the best interest of this child, which sometimes that's reunification with the parents.
Sure.
I hope that's mostly the case.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's foster care. So every now and then, and I think most foster parents are good, every now and then a child goes into foster care and they're abused or neglected in foster care.
Yeah.
And that's not good either. So
it's got to be policed.
People who care about children and make sure that they're going to be safe and who are going to stand up for kids in that process, I think more sets of eyes is usually a good thing.